I spent 7 years chasing Ethan. Just after he finally agreed to marry me, his white lie flew home from Europe. He said, "All these years you've only filled the gap she left. Now she's back and doesn't even want a title, so don't be petty." I stayed silent. His friends rushed to mediate. What man in our circle doesn't keep a few lovers on the side? "Ethan's got one white lie. Count yourself lucky." Ethan said heartlessly, "Can't accept it? Then let's cancel the wedding ceremony." I'd waited for that exact line. "Fine." Then I turned and walked out. Behind me, his friends sneered. "Well, damn, she's got spine. How long before she comes crawling back begging?" Ethan gave a short laugh. "Last time it took 3 days. This time she's feeling noble, maybe a week." The whole crowd burst into laughter. Half a month later, Ethan contacted me for the first time. "Sophie, I've given you plenty of time to think. Once your head's clear, come home." Adrian's arm was around me. He snapped a photo of the little red marriage certificate I'd just gotten and hit send. "Young Sterling, divorce needs a cooling-off period. Marriage doesn't." Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening. 7 years trailing Ethan. Long enough to watch my comatose mother die, long enough to stop struggling and accept the arrangement. The moment he finally agreed to marry me, his white lie came back from Paris. He threw a welcome-back birthday party for Bella. Someone asked, "If you and Bella rekindle things, can Sophie handle it?" Ethan snorted. "She'll flail a bit, then she'll deal." These last few years, what even was I dating? Flatter than tap water. His buddy joked. "No way, Sophie looks fiery, all that fight makes you want to conquer her." The guy rubbed his palms together, practically drooling. "If she can't take it and you two split, I'm making my move." Ethan curved his lips, confident. "Be my guest. Land her, and I'll gift you a sports car as a wedding present." The room exploded, glasses clinked, bets laid. I give her 2 days to pout before she talks herself back into it. I'm praying she says no. I want a shot. They even vowed whoever got me could bang me in that car Ethan would hand over. I arrived late from overtime and caught the whole show from the doorway. I spun around and left. No one noticed. No more chains on me. I'd quit resisting, accepted the life stretched out ahead. Only now a sliver of hope glimmered. A restless, almost giddy lightness fluttered beneath my ribs. After that, Ethan paraded Bella to every lounge, flaunting her existence. He gifted estates, supercars, diamonds like loose change. Everyone cheered that he'd won his heart's desire. Word travels fast on the East Coast, even Eleanor heard. I voiced no opinion. I stopped shopping for a wedding gown. Ethan threw another party and announced in front of the crowd, "All these years you've only filled the gap she left. Now she's back and doesn't want a title. Don't be petty." I met his gaze in silence. The room went quiet, tension strung tight. His friends chimed in. What man doesn't have lovers these days? Ethan's only got one white lie, take the win. Ethan said coldly, "Can't take it? Then we'll cancel the engagement." I'd waited for that line. Deal. He hadn't expected me to be so brisk. It knocked him off balance. Ethan shot to his feet, eyes wide. "You sure?" "Sophie, I'll give you one more chance." I cut him off. "I can't accept you keeping anyone but me. I choose to break the engagement." His rage cooled into something smug. He frowned, masking satisfaction. See, he'd known I was bluffing. Generously, he declared, "You're just overheated. Spend a few days thinking it over. When you're calm, come back." I said, "I mean it. Let's end this cleanly." Ethan shrugged, careless. "Whatever. Engagement's off." I smiled politely. "I've got things to do. I'm leaving." Behind me, his friends mocked. "Well, damn, she's got spine. She's officially engaged, gotta talk tough." "No one but me," she said. "Ha. How long before she kneels and begs?" Ethan chuckled. "Last time it took 3 days. This time, maybe a week. Remember high school? You banged some senior, broke up with her, and 3 days later she crawled back." I walked out fast, hot tears rolling while my mouth stretched into a grin I couldn't stop. 7 years, and the end had finally come. I sent Eleanor the recording. She said nothing. My exit was approved. Betrothal money, every gift these years, I returned to her. I paid back part of my mother's medical bills and promised the rest in installments. Like a caged beast suddenly drenched in fresh blood, I burst free weightless. A flicker of fear about the future, but my choice stood firm. Stripped of everything never mine, all I had from those 7 years was a stack of certificates, my phone, my ID, and the townhouse my mother left me. That night I walked out with only my phone and headed to Rowan, the lounge my best friend owns. Carly threw an arm around me and led me to the front booth, sounding like an old-school madam. Fresh batch of college bartenders. Bodies and faces that'll make our major investor very happy. I said, don't break laws, the whole neighborhood's full of students. She grinned. Relax. They sing, they dance, we appreciate the view. Back in college, Carly had clamored to open a bar. Her family refused cash. Eleanor paid my mother's bills on schedule, so I had no expenses. I'd scraped together savings, sick of a dictated life, and quietly handed it all to Carly. No management duties, only advice. The bar sat a block from campus. Half the staff were work-study kids. Business kept climbing. My dividends swelled. Next door I opened a corner CF called Cocoon. But graduation year I orbited Eleanor and Ethan, dropping by the bars only to exhale. Carly snapped her fingers at the bartender. One Cocoon craft cocktail. Don't say I never deliver. Lined up some trust fund hotties tonight, all 10 times better than that sterling mutt. I laughed her off. Behave. The guys who arrived were old classmates. Without that link I'd never rate an invite. After they sat, one more walked in, long legs, arctic face, aura sharp enough to cut glass, taking the seat opposite me. I lifted my glass, glanced up, froze. Carly blinked. Is that Adrian? One of the guys answered. Yeah, landed yesterday. Jet-lagged back-to-back meetings with my family on a hotel deal. Heard your call, figured he could use a breather. Adrian flicked one look at me, then away, indifferent. They chatted, Carly whispered. I'd bet my liver he's here for you. I sipped the Cocoon, bitter on the tongue, burning down the throat. Ignored the drum in my chest and muttered. If he's here for me, it's payback. Carly ordered a second round, naming it White Lie. I peeked at Adrian. No reaction, just sips of warm water. Maybe he'd buried our stupid past like everyone else. White Lie became the topic. A shy guy asked, Sophie, can I add you on iMessage? The air dropped 10 degrees. Chill pricked my neck. I passed my phone for the QR scan anyway. A gaze tracked my hand. I felt it. Head down, I tasted the White Lie, first sour, then mellow sweetness, finally vodka heat. Carly leaned in. He's staring like he wants to swallow you whole. I swallowed another sip. Forget it, she hissed. No way. The kid who used to be skin and bones is now Ice Prince Zhang Lingi. Eat him up, then we settle the bill. Sterling eats old grass, you reclaim White Lie. You deserve the best. Want me to slip something in his drink? I burst out laughing, heads turned. Carly straightened sheepish. Haha, Sophie's tipsy. I'll call a car. I wasn't drunk, just weightless, floating. Adrian's cold face shimmered under the strobe like a moon on water. Low and glacial, he said. I'll drive her. He scooped me up, cradled against his chest. Mind clear, emotions on blast. In the passenger seat he clicked my belt, started to shut the door. I caught his hand, stared at him. You, are you single? Do you still love me? Heat rushed behind my eyes. Forget it. No need to muddy these waters again. I said quietly, thanks for the ride. He closed the door, stayed outside, lit a cigarette. Thumb and forefinger pinching the lit stick, he exhaled slowly. But watched me the whole time, eyes fathomless, starving, as if he could devour me in one gulp. Exactly what Carly had warned. Alcohol clawed my throat like a splinter I couldn't swallow or pull free. It ached. Something pounded against my ribs. Spring shoots after a decade of frost, drilling upward through pain. Heartbeat roared in my ears. After a few drags, he stubbed the cigarette, climbed in. I sucked in air and blurted, Adrian, can I chase you? His fingers on the wheel twitched. Emotion I couldn't read flickered across his gaze. He reached over, palm brushing my neck, then tipped my chin, forefinger tracing my lower lip. Anticipation cracked across his eyes, yet his voice came vicious. Planning to mess with me again? Adrian and I were junior high classmates. We met on a day of torrential rain. A clique of heiresses ordered me to haul trash through the storm. I saw a body lying in the landfill, limbs tied, and thought it was a corpse dumped. I shrieked, ready to bolt. The boy said lifelessly, relax. Still breathing. I untied the ropes, dragged him to a nearby pavilion. Fished 2 lollipops from my pocket, gave him one. 2 drowned rats, we licked candy and watched the downpour in wordless understanding. They say he first caught the pack's attention because he shared a surname with the Vance family of Capitol Hill. The Vance crown prince called him bastard, mongrel, and rallied the prep school brats to stomp him bloody. I saw Adrian again in the cafeteria. The crown prince kicked his tray across the tiles. He was about to shove Adrian's face into the slop bucket when a dean appeared in the doorway. The prince sauntered off with his entourage. I dragged Adrian up the fire stairs to the roof, opened my lunchbox, and asked, help me finish half. He wolfed the food like he hadn't eaten in days. After that, no matter where we stood on campus, even during morning drills on the football field, our eyes found each other first thing. Then we'd look away, two parallel lines that never meet. Yet for 3 years we kept meeting on that tar and gravel roof above the cafeteria. By ninth grade his features had sharpened, arms and legs long and carved. The boy was turning beautiful. While he squinted in the sun, I leaned in and, possessed by something, kissed his cheek. His eyes flew open. I nearly combusted. Face scarlet, he stared at me and said, "Wanna start dating?" Caught red-handed, I mumbled through the shame. Too early. Emery, we swore we'd ace the same high school entrance test and sneak into puppy love afterward. But life never asks permission. That summer after ninth grade, Mom was hit by a car and slid into a coma. Dad's company was bleeding cash, yet he refused to file for bankruptcy, which meant astronomical debt. In his panic, he hatched a brilliant plan. I would become the teenage bride of a 60-year-old tycoon. The dowry would plug the company whole, keep Mom on life support, and pay my tuition. That was when Eleanor Sterling found me. She needed a pliable girl with grit, someone who could tether her wild son. She would enroll me in Ethan's private high school. My job was to chase him. Adrian and I had already tested into one of the big 4 academies in Capital. I had no choice: marry the aging mogul or pursue Ethan. I chose the latter. Adrian came to me. The campuses are 20 minutes apart. I can bike over every afternoon. I swallowed the ache. Don't come again. I'm chasing another guy. His eyes reddened. He flirts with half the girls in our feed. High school Ethan had the pedigree, the face, the only flaw being his generous heart. He handed pieces to every girl. He courted Bella while juggling 3 others. Still, girls hurled themselves at him. I became one more volunteer. He neither accepted nor rejected me. He ate the breakfast I brought, drained my water bottle on the court, let me wipe his sweat. I remembered Eleanor's ledger. $200,000 a year to keep Mom alive. I curved my lips. As long as I'm not his official girlfriend, I still have a shot. Adrian left, back lonely enough to break. Alex, those 3 endless years. He showed up again and again, and each time walked away hollow. By graduation, Eleanor was ready to release me. Coincidentally, Bella flew to Paris, and Ethan asked me to be his. That same day, Adrian blocked my path. Why must it be him? My heart was ashes. Because I love him. He's rich, powerful, and gorgeous. He seized my wrist and wouldn't let go, eyes stubborn and wounded. In the end, he surrendered and boarded a plane. Ethan and I entered the same Ivy Feeder college. He started sneaking into hotel suites with a senior. First he lied, then he flaunted it. I had prepared myself for a lifetime of dogfights, but not for a 3rd chair at the table. When Eleanor heard, she shrugged. He's restless, but he never said dump you. Pride overruling reason. I broke up on my own. Dad slapped me. Spoiled idiot. Without Ethan, your mother's bills die, the company rots. This family cracked long ago. I wanted to yell. Mom had been vegetative a year when Dad moved his mistress in. They already had 2 kids. But the ICU meter kept ticking, so I crawled back. Ethan lolled on a velvet banquette, bottle in hand. Babe, you chase when you want, bail when you're bored? Handed you the girlfriend crown, be grateful. Don't lecture me on freedom, got it? I'm sorry, I whispered. His frat brothers hooted. Sorry's cheap, lips flap, lies spill. Ethan pondered, then grinned. Neil and we're good. As fate timed it, Eleanor texted. ICU again. I folded both knees. The room exploded in cheers. Mom stabilized. Ethan stayed faithful after that, at least until Margaret flatlined. By then I had convinced myself he was my destiny. Eleanor beamed that her son had finally anchored, thanked me, promised to groom me. Then Bella came home. Adrian's eyes rimmed scarlet, same as the day I'd banished him. Sorry, I was drunk and rude. He cut me off with a clumsy, burning kiss. His palm slid to my nape, trembling. My bones melted, drowsiness surged. When I woke, the bed was empty. I started to sit, and realized I was naked beneath the sheet. No hangover, no soreness, only the memory of his mouth pressed to mine. Adrian walked in, black shirt unbuttoned at the throat, looking expensive and untouchable, a glass of water in hand. I drank. Where are my clothes? Trash bag. Logic said laundry, not garbage, but before I could speak he asked, ID in your purse? Bag on nightstand, check. Yes. Throw on something. Breakfast is ready. I raided his closet, rows of bespoke shirts. One hung to mid-thigh, scandalous. In the mirror, faint teeth marks around my jaw, constellations of hickeys south of my collar. 2 craft cocktails and I'd lost the night. Years apart and Adrian had turned carnivore. I hid in the shower too long. His voice seeped through the door, then the door itself swung open. We faced each other, me stark naked. He sucked in a breath, cheeks flaming, pretending composure. I didn't know what to cover first. 2 seconds later, Adrian, you perv. I fled into his robe, oversized but armor nonetheless. At the table he ate like we discussed weather. I glared, he ignored. Finally I surrendered and joined him. A stylist arrived with a rack of white dresses and untouched makeup. I chose an off-shoulder number that framed every bruise he'd planted. Adrian stood at the picture window, phone to ear, shirt tailoring to the blades of his back. When our eyes met, he said, "Light makeup. We're going out." Concealer erased the bite. Foundation armor hid the rest. 3 times he checked. "ID?" I nodded, until the car stopped at the marriage bureau steps. My heart slammed. "You sure?" He lifted a brow. "You brave enough." The license had barely cooled before he pocketed it. "I fly out this afternoon. Week-long handoff of overseas holdings. Delete the numbers you collected last night." Still dazed, I obeyed. "Where to?" he asked. "Rowan." I answered my corner CAF. He idled at the curb, palm cupping my nape, kissing me until my tongue ached. I stumbled out, didn't look back until I reached the espresso machine. His car hadn't moved, gaze branding me through tinted glass. Only then did I realize I had 0 contact info for my new husband. I texted the playboy from last night, begged Adrian's handle, and pinged him a friend request. Carly burst in that afternoon, louder than if she'd won the lottery plus a Calvin Klein model. "Spill, did the volcano erupt all night?" I flushed. We kissed. She squinted clinical eyes. With the way he looked, "Please. No way you closed that door before dawn." On my phone, her unread texts. "Word is Adrian's back to gut the Sterlings. You sure he's not here for you?" Radio silence. Guess the sheets are still smoldering. I lifted my left hand. "We kind of got married this morning." She blanked, then screamed loud enough to crack the pendant lamps. "Married? After one reunion night?" I nodded, still floating. Carly whistled. "Love-starved alpha finally drags home his lost prize. Congrats, girl." That night we changed into bartender blacks and worked the lounge. Across town, Ethan lay sprawled in a hotel suite, Bella asleep in the other room, cigarette burning down between his fingers. It had been a week of every victory he once fantasized about, his white lie begging for him, the markets obeying, the world at his feet. So why did his chest echo hollow? He flicked ash into crystal, phone spinning on the glass table. Group chat ping, a buddy tagging him. "Yo, your girl's slinging drinks at Rowan tonight." The clip was only 10 seconds. Sophie was in a black server's apron that cinched her waist, giving her a sharp, almost severe beauty, smiling at someone off frame. She was laughing. She actually knew how to laugh. So she'd rather debase herself slinging drinks than ever look back? The group chat exploded. "Ethan bro, the queen's gone for good. Can we shoot our shot now? Count me in." Ethan answered with a voice note, furious. "Do whatever the hell you want." He replayed the clip again and again, face darkening every time. The usual yes men chimed in with brilliant ideas. Your birthday's next week. Why don't we swing by Rowan tonight and throw the ex some business?" His thumbs shook over the screen. "Don't you dare. Any of you. She wants to play bartender? Let's see how long she keeps it up." He hurled the phone across the room. Sophie had grown a spine, an entire week with no calls, no texts. Every guy in this set kept a spare girl on the side, accept it or leave. Only Miss High and Mighty needed a title. Give her one and she flaunts it. Ethan's expression turned Russian winter cold. This time, even if she knelt, he wouldn't take her back so easily. I drafted the expansion plan for the corner CAF, poured myself an espresso, then looked up. Adrian sat by the window in a tailored suit. Dusk softened the harsh line of his brows. We'd spent the week swapping polite, distant texts. Now déjà vu prickled the air. His gaze lifted, twilight reflected in dark lake eyes. I carried my cup over, set it in front of him, slid into the opposite chair, facing the husband who was still a stranger. Awkward. Unsteady. Before small talk surfaced, Adrian asked, "What time can you leave?" He drank, Adam's apple rising and falling. Beautiful hands, long fingers, articulate bones, a flush across the knuckles. The kind fiction describes as, I swallowed. He pushed the espresso back, tapped twice with that famed 2-fingered fork. "Well, anytime," I blurted, pretending sudden busyness by sipping. He always catches me mid-crime. "There's Dylan at 8, he said. "When do you want to bolt?" "Dylan." Instant nerves. "Relax, just dinner." Then we set a date for the wedding. We finished the coffee and drove to Cloudview, the estate he'd told me to treat as home. Clothes migrated piecemeal. The walk-in closet stopped me cold, rows of cocktail gowns, matching jewels laid out like soldiers, diamonds, emeralds, rubies. I still knew nothing about his family. Back then I'd loved the face, the rest hadn't mattered. He passed while I stared, lifted my chin, brushed a kiss. I chose a sleeveless crepe dress, pearl studs, quiet, appropriate. Adrian was still on a call. I carried my laptop to the study, half library, half museum, and emailed the roaster. Contract sent, I hunted for light reading. My fingers brushed something, the shelves parted, revealing an elevator. I spun around. Adrian. He stepped forward, voice sandpaper rough. Brave enough to go down? The doors reopened on a cavern lit in soft pink. A pink bed. My pulse rabbit kicked. I clutched his hand, sweating. You're scaring me. A bitter smile. This was my blackest thought when I hit rock bottom. I wanted to annihilate the Sterlings and lock you here. Then I feared hurting you. He tilted my face. But you said yes. I rose on tiptoe, arms around his neck, choking. I'm sorry. I don't need apologies. I need you back. His kiss was brutal, drowning. I tore away, gasping. Didn't we have Dylan? The Bentley swept through iron gates into a stone mansion. Every face had graced Sunday talk shows. The Vance dynasty, capital royalty. The former golden boy of the clan had lost his shine. Sensing my stiffness, Adrian murmured, Relax. He's just a last name now. Later I learned Adrian was the illegitimate son, his mother dying in childbirth. Bastards here are kicked unless someone powerful lifts them up. Grandfather Vance noticed him in high school, backed him through college, handed him the family's bleeding hotel chain. He tripled its value, built it into a global luxury brand, and was anointed CEO. The elders smiled, having vetted me. No questions about bloodlines, only married life plans. On departure, I received a Cash App that nearly crashed my phone. Back at Cloudview, a push alert flashed. Sterling share price rattled. I remembered Carly saying Adrian was going after them. He patted in wearing navy pajamas. I asked, Are you behind the Sterling sell-off? He didn't deny it. Planning to plead for him. Eleanor's money had paid my mother's bills. I'd needed every cent. Still, I wasn't a saint. It's complicated, she helped. He yanked me into his arms, kissed me silent, grip tightening as if I might vanish. When I answered with my tongue, his palms mapped me, inch stroke claim. I clutched his shirt, whimpering. His voice low and wicked. Nice hands, huh? Like them. My turn, baby. Shame scalded me. I came apart in tears. So skilled. Only in theory. Release arrived embarrassingly fast. I lay dazed. Oh! He misread the sound, nipped my cheek in frustration. Round 2 practiced desperate, endless. I woke after noon, an unfamiliar weight on my left hand, a wedding band. The night before Ethan's birthday, his crew toasted him at a private club, counting down to midnight. No date, no Bella. He was leaving the door open for Sophie. Games, shots, side chicks, laughter everywhere. Ethan nursed whiskey, refreshing his phone. Minutes to 12. Silence from Sophie. Quinn, ever the weather vane, chirped. She's probably stuck in traffic. I pinged her the address. Yeah, every year she sends a cake at 12. Ethan's her number 1. His smile was arctic. On her way. Half a ghost for 2 weeks. Anyone want a turn? The table froze. Just kidding, bro. She's still our sis. He dialed. 10 to go, maybe she's lost. Ethan stared at the screen, knuckles white. The ringtone sliced the hush again, straight to voicemail. Night shift maybe. Waiting for His Highness to call first. Ethan's silence was a command. Keep redialing. Finally she picked. Sophie, Quinn? Sup? You on the road, sis? Birthday boy's waiting. Not coming. Ethan and I are done. Tell him happy birthday, I guess. Wait. Dial tone. Room temperature plunged. He wanted to evaporate. Ethan's whisper. Not on her way? She wants you to reach out, bro girls love the chase. His jaw twitched. Won't happen. He didn't want surrender. Just acceptance that men here keep extras. She'd never really leave. She'd chased him 3 years in high school. Junior year he cheated. Once he'd forgotten protection and sent her to CVS for Plan B. She'd stormed out, then crawled back 3 days later. She couldn't survive without him. I ended the call and found Adrian in charcoal pajamas, eyes sharp as razors. Going somewhere? I lifted the cake off the marble counter. Rowan. Carly's waiting. He seized my wrist, masking panic with venom. Lie to me again and we're finished. We signed the certificate. His grip bruised, voice cracked. If he snaps his fingers, will you divorce me? You always pick him. Heart splitting, I hugged him, rubbing my cheek to his. Carly brought this to celebrate us. Her exact words. Congrats, Rowan, finally happy. He locked an arm around my waist. I kissed the stubble along his jaw. I'm not agreeing to any divorce either. Just putting the cake in the fridge. I went to Rowan to break up a fight, I said. I've handled all the bar's PR for the last few years. Adrian scooped me up in his arms and carried me toward the upstairs bedroom. "I'll have my chief of staff deal with it," he said. He texted the aide. I messaged Carly. The second the message sent, he pinned me down, locking both my wrists above my head. There was a fierceness in him, wild, angry. A kiss that felt like it wanted to devour me. Bites scattered across my cheek, my throat, my collarbone with no rhythm at all while his palms roamed, lost and frantic. I tried to soothe him, but I couldn't find an opening. All I could do was endure. "I like you," I said. "It's always been you." His frame shuddered. Then he yanked my clothes off with blunt, brutal tugs. Between ragged breaths, he gave a bitter laugh. "Doesn't matter anymore." The tangle on the bed was passion laced with hate, insanity stripped of reason. A roaring tide of desire dragged us under. Love and loathing braided tight. I could feel his unrest, his terror. But he no longer believed me. What was I supposed to do? We went at it until 5 in the morning. Adrian held Sophie's unconscious form, kissing the tear-damp lashes. Sanity had crawled back, and he hated himself for taking advantage of her surrender, for tricking her into the marriage license, for coaxing her into bed, for bullying her into saying she loved him. How could she love someone this dark? Then again, she shouldn't love a fickle man either. That guy didn't deserve her, treated her poorly, kept hurting her. If she was miserable with everyone, she might as well be back with him. Every time she turned Alex down, it felt like a knife sliding deeper. Each stab more agonizing than the last, yet never enough to kill his obsession. He kept chasing, waiting for the day she would finally finish him. Then she started dating the other man. Adrian realized he wasn't dead. He just couldn't feel the sun anymore. Sophie claimed she loved money and power, so he went and got both. Years of patience later, fortune and influence were finally his. He had returned to crush Sterling Corp, back them into a corner, force her back on his own. The day after he came back, Sophie broke up with the guy. He had once cursed the unfairness of the world. Now the world had spun in his favor. If he let this chance slip, he deserved to grow old alone. The woman in his arms suddenly flailed, catching at the air, whimpering, "Adrian." His breathing turned heavy. He peppered her face with kisses and whispered, "Don't leave me." When I woke in the afternoon, I felt dismembered, eyes and lips swollen. Adrian had already left for the office. How could he stay up all night and not even yawn? Where did that stamina come from? Hickeys mottled every inch of me. Teeth marks dotted my cheeks, neck, collarbone. Why did he have to bite so much? No way I could show my face outside. I worked from home. Coffee supplier, locked in. Everything else could roll now. After I cleared the to-do list, I turned to Adrian's crippling lack of security. I stared at the bookshelf again. Hesitating, I pulled it open and rode the elevator down. A vast sealed space glittered like noon, vents humming. None of the basement staleness I expected. A flamboyant pink castle. I stopped at one shelf, my high school textbooks and thick stacks of tests. I opened a book and froze. Sophie. Heat flooded my cheeks. I pulled out volume after volume, disbelieving. Every single one was texts I had sold years ago. My eyes stung. Farther in, I found my old water bottle, the broken hair tie. An ancient photo album. Me at the 8th grade sports day, accepting a third-place ribbon. Thumbprints smudged the lower right corner. I flipped it over. Handwriting sprawled across the back. "On this barren earth, you are my last rose." Sour longing clawed my throat. Next shot, both of us. Graduation at last. We'll date as soon as semester starts. The rest were snapshots of me in high school hallways, the field, the cafeteria, the classroom. She won't early date me anymore. She's chasing some guy. I'm jealous enough to kill. She doesn't smile these days. She turned me down. Why am I still crushed? Then came the senior coming-of-age ceremony. Me holding black roses. Sophie, 18, holding my roses. Those roses had been his? I'd thought Ethan left them on my desk. I wiped away rolling tears and kept going. She got the guy she wanted, still unhappy. "You're always sad, come back to me. Can you like me instead?" I couldn't take any more. I fled back to the study and curled up on the sofa, clutching my aching chest. I felt hollow, unable to move. Minutes later, Adrian appeared, terror in his eyes, as if I'd uncovered a monster, as if I'd run now that I'd seen it. "You saw everything." My heart throbbed in dull pain. I sobbed, "I'm sorry. So very sorry." He hugged me hard, lost and frantic. "Don't be sorry. Stop crying. Don't leave, don't push me. I won't survive it." He misunderstood again. I flung my arms around his neck and sealed his mouth with mine. Thin, soft lips, exactly what I'd wanted to touch back in middle school, though then I'd only dared kiss his cheek. When we both calmed, I explained every last thing. Adrian blamed himself, aching. "I'm sorry." I brushed a kiss on him and smiled. "It's in the past. We were both trapped back then. I'm not pitiful, so don't torment yourself. Right now we're perfect, the best us, the best moment. He cradled my face, thumbs wiping outward. Yeah, you made me say I like you. I pretended to scowl and punched his chest. You never said it back. My heart still raced. The secret joy I'd buried was finally free. At last I could say without shame, I love you. We spoke together. The same we'd had in junior high, the same skip of the heart. Barrier gone, Adrian turned shameless again, deadpan. You need ointment. He actually carried it in his pocket and started applying it right there on the couch. I kicked at his face, flailing. Pervert. Ethan didn't go out for his birthday. He stayed home enraged. Sophie hadn't set an engagement date. She'd returned the dowry and every gift he'd ever given. Even her father had disowned her. There was nothing left to force her to bow. He tore the living room apart, porcelain and crystal shards glittering on the carpet. He'd never planned to keep anyone. He'd only meant to fool around. All his life she was the one girlfriend he'd claimed. He had fallen for her back in high school. He basked in her pursuit. She was bolder, fiercer than any other girl. No matter how many times he rejected her, she kept loving him. The day he finally said yes, he'd been ecstatic. Sophie was hopelessly romantic. On his 18th birthday, when his deadbeat dad and career-obsessed mom ignored him, she bought him a cake and wished him happiness. She shelled his shrimp, cracked his crab legs at dinner. She tutored him in English. When he failed the CET-6, she encouraged him in that soft voice of hers. At the start she still smiled. A smile so healing it made strangers grin back. She studied nonstop. When she wasn't in class, she was headed to the library. So sophomore year, he cheated with the senior, who gamed with him late at night. The night Sophie dumped him, he was terrified. He never expected her to crawl back 3 days later, kneeling for another chance. At an age when pride meant everything, she was willing to abase herself. He'd never been loved like that. From then on he poured everything into her, respected every boundary, including no sex before marriage. After that night, though, she never smiled again. Still, a man has needs. He kept waiting, until she proposed, and they were officially engaged. He brought up moving in, she refused again. Then Bella flew home, and on impulse he flaunted his so-called white lie. Yet Sophie was all he could think about. Only now did Ethan realize he'd been living inside her love the entire time. He didn't mind lowering himself once to coax her. She'd come running back. Maybe once she felt his sincerity, she'd agree to move in early. Blood surging, Ethan dialed her number, unable to wait. The instant she answered, Ethan's pulse rocketed. Sophie was waiting for his apology after all. But silence came from the other end. Fury spiked. Still, the words that spilled were, Sophie, I've given you plenty of time to think. Once you've cooled off, come home. He was already regretting his tone when a man's voice drifted through. Young Sterling, divorce needs a cooling-off period. Marriage doesn't. The first half carried a mocking lilt. The second rose warm and bright. Yet that male voice alone froze Ethan solid. If Sophie had cheated, he would kill her. Through clenched teeth he demanded, Who are you? Sophie replied, He's my husband. It's late. If your mother doesn't need anything, I'll hang up. Ethan's heart slammed against his ribs. He gripped the phone, voice low and coaxing. Tell me where you are. I'll come pick you up. We'll choose your wedding gown, tour venues together. Sophie stayed calm. Avery. Ethan, I really am married. If your mom's fine, goodbye. Veins bulged across Ethan's forehead. Eyes bloodshot, he roared. Sophie. The line clicked dead. Beep, beep, beep. Ethan stood in the wrecked living room, dazed. Sophie. So traditional, she trembled at hand-holding. How could she marry a stranger in only 2 weeks? She must still be furious, grabbing some random guy at a lounge to provoke him. Ethan was certain Sophie was simply throwing a bigger tantrum this time. Girls usually begged him. He needed a plan to coax her. A minute later his phone rang. His heart catapulted into his throat. Proof his theory was right. Sophie had softened and was calling to accept his apology. The screen read Quinn, disappointment stabbed. He answered irritably. His voice shook. Yo bro, did you see Sis's Insta post? Ethan's Adam's apple bobbed. What post? Quinn. The wife just uploaded a photo of a marriage certificate. He added hastily. Could be fake. Everyone photoshops those nowadays. Ethan hung up and lunged for Sophie's Instagram. A photo of 2 crimson marriage certificates crossed so the names, Sophie, Adrian, showed crystal clear. Caption, it's us. Ethan hurled his phone away, chest heaving, and kicked the 60-kilogram solid tea table onto its side. He grabbed the first thing at hand and hurled it at the glass curio cabinet. Glass exploded. Every treasure on the shelves crashed to the floor and became junk. Adrian had finally been willing to pull the hidden marriage certificate from its drawer. We lay on the bed. He curled one arm around me, and together we spread the booklet open for the shot, ready to crop and post. That was the instant Ethan's call came through. After a few words, Adrian smugly hung up, blacklisted, and deleted Ethan's contact in one swipe. Then he sent the finished caption and sealed it with a long, aching kiss before tucking me in and falling asleep, perfectly at peace. I had assumed a pampered prince like Ethan, now reunited with his white lie, would revel in the freedom and grow wilder than ever. I hadn't planned on a showdown. After all, we still breathed the same capital air. But the next morning my building manager phoned. Ethan had come looking. I told the staff to inform him he need never contact me again. That night he showed up at Rowan. Carly wouldn't lift a finger to fetch me. He filmed the hotel meltdown and pinged me. "Sis, honestly, Yaoji really loves you, come quick." Adrian was buried in the Vance handover. The family was ready to go public with his identity, so every night he came home late. I wanted the mess mopped up before he walked through the door, to give him absolute certainty. When I reached the lounge, the floor was empty of patrons. Carly had the entire staff lined up facing Ethan's crew like rival gangs. It looked like a mafia standoff. She shielded me like a mama bear. "Soph, you shouldn't be here, he can't touch me." The moment Ethan saw me, fury tangled with wild joy. "Can we talk?" "We've already parted on good terms," I said. "I'm married, what else is there?" In a rare, concentrated tenderness he coaxed, "Stop this. I know that photo is fake. I was wrong to drift. I've decided to change. From now on it's just you and me. Come here, let me take you home." Carly blocked me, terrified I'd be lured back. I flashed my wedding band. I wouldn't bother forging a marriage certificate for Instagram. I had once truly accepted him, determined we could make it work. But the instant he cheated and told me to kneel, the Sophie who compromised died. Only when he agreed to a civil split did I come back to life. Now I only want the career I love beside the man I love. Ethan's face bleached into the bright lights. He dropped his head, gave 2 helpless laughs, then 2 more somber ones. "Sophie, you've been tricked. You chased me and Alex, tagged after me through college. You've met no one, you don't know how vicious the world is. Guys who hang at bars aren't decent. They see a pretty girl and plot to get her into bed. They play dirtier than I ever did, you wouldn't survive it. No one values what comes easy. Sophie, you're still so naive. I don't mind that you betrayed me, don't mind that you've been used and aren't perfect anymore." Oh, the naive one was him, still refusing reality, deceiving himself. I glanced at the smashed shelves and cut him off. "Mr. Sterling, your opinion stopped mattering to me a while ago. But the damage you caused tonight, kindly reimburse Carly at market value. I need to get home. My husband will worry if he doesn't find me there." I stepped back and collided with a solid chest. A low voice murmured, "Wife. Adrian, why was he here?" Ethan lunged, roaring, "It was you, you fooled Sophie." Rage cracked into grievance. His boys yanked him back. "Ethan, cool it." Adrian's fingers locked around mine. "I didn't deceive her. I fell for her in middle school and never stopped. She's happy at my side. She's always been perfect and can stay naive forever. You didn't cherish her, so you're the one unworthy of my Sophie." Ethan snapped, rabid. "Love, she's gorgeous. You just want her in your bed. Ask every guy behind me. Who doesn't want to? If I hadn't kept her under my wing these years, she'd have been chewed to bones long ago. You're a vulture swooping in, stealing someone's girl, then preaching love. Can't get enough, can you?" Adrian strode up and slammed a foot into him. Ethan, born volatile, found no one holding him back after that filth. The crew stepped aside. He couldn't beat Adrian, he simply took punches. I wasn't sad, only stunned by his shamelessness. Perhaps to him all women were toys, or my years at his heel had ingrained contempt. Carly wanted to cheer but didn't dare shout. When it looked enough, I said, "Stop, Sterling only has one son, don't actually kill him." Ethan wheezed, "I won't let this go." "Sophie, you saw he hit me." I took Adrian's hand. "Any injuries?" He grinned. "Whole body hurts." Ethan howled, "I'm the one bleeding, Sophie. Half a month already over me? When I got hurt you used to dress the wounds." I told Carly, "Call an ambulance." She chirped, "On it." I no longer owed past kindness, I said ice cold. "I never loved you, ever. And you never loved me. You just hate to lose." Ethan froze. "You never loved me. You said yes when I asked. Was it because my mother paid you?" He pondered, then gave a bitter, broken smile. "So no sex before marriage was a lie. In truth you were saving yourself for him." I replied, "No, it's my principle. These years I truly tried to build a life with you. Proposing to you was my own choice. You went on living your way, so we parted amicably, and I finally got to choose mine. Ethan couldn't accept it. Once she'd been willing, inches from being his. How had it come to this? He had always believed she loved him. Now the joke was on him. He was the one who'd fallen, who had drained her patience, who still couldn't let go. Gone, his surefire leverage over her. Roughly his buddies dragged Ethan out. Our right and wrong are tangled through Alex and 4 college years. Neither of us spotless, neither able to judge the other. Tonight the stalemate ends. I won't erase that dim youth nor hide from it. If we ever meet again, may we at least be decent to one another. Eleanor is pure business. She once bankrolled Dad's project because it profited them both. Now Dad is old, can't generate returns, so the money stopped. I took the near-bankrupt company, refocused the product line, dragged it into digital management, and nursed it back to health. Dad has no say, just enough dividend to live on, my support payment for him. My coffee is cheap, student-friendly, built for quiet study, and has multiplied around university districts in first- and second-tier cities. I ran into Eleanor at an industry gala. My instincts are never wrong, she said. With your drive, I thought you'd become the next me. Especially those years you showed such endurance. I knew you'd succeed at anything. I don't want to be a second you, I replied. She smiled thinly. True, you dare seize every opportunity. My husband's useless, my son hopeless. Since I took the reins, neither can touch my life or my work. Sterling Group keeps climbing under my watch, and I keep lovers I actually enjoy. When there's no better option, my present is the perfect option. Yes, we had both worn chains. She ousted her worthless husband and steered Sterling's market cap far beyond its old value. I broke free, found myself, built my own company, and loved the man beside me. They say Ethan broke up with Bella that very night. Bella cycled through a few playboys, then married a thrice-divorced man with 3 daughters. The gossip pages feast on her wars with stepdaughters and her hunts for side chicks, prime cocktail entertainment. Ethan, cash poor, lost all marital veto power and was forced into an alliance. Afterward, each spouse played freely, yet he never smiled again. He often sits wordlessly in my shop corner, staring at nothing. I think I finally understand you, he said once. I don't visit Corner alone anymore. Adrian always comes. Corner is the only cafe plastered with our wedding and couple selfies. Adrian even listed a $250 single shot called Expired exclusively for Ethan. Ethan's eyes bulge with rage, yet he pays the tariff every time just to sit and brood in a place where every other drink is 9.9. Adrian and I threw a lavish year-end wedding. Everyone gave their blessing. Married life slid into the most ordinary rhythm, movie dates, mall sprees like any other couple. Those years truly terrified Adrian. No matter how I prove my love, he still wakes anxious. We once talked. What if I had married Ethan back then? He said, if he treated you well, if you smiled every day, I would never have come back. Maybe I'd meet a woman who stirred me someday. Maybe I'd stay single forever. Maybe. Adrian's arms tightened. His chin rested on my crown, breath warm. A long time passed, so long I thought he'd drifted off, before his low voice mixed with the thud of his heart. Sophie. Don't get lost again. He laced our fingers, squeezing until the bones felt fused. This time I'll die before I let go. Outside, city lights melted into a starry sea. A rose that clawed its way out of barren soil finally has a gardener willing to brave the thorns. Thank you for listening. If you liked the story, please like and share. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.